guys, hey 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 guys, it's Riz ASMR here, back making videos again. I know it's been a while, and I'm just gonna state it right from the start. It was all my fault for not following through. I guess last time, like I said, I would. I said I was gonna do it more like when I really felt like it, but actually, because I didn't want it to feel like an obligation. But honestly, if I can't be too lax like that, because then it lets me lets me be too irresponsible and not like actually commit to it, you know. But the good news is I am back now for good, and I'm going to try. I'm not no tries here. I'm going to give you guys some quality ASMR content to help you guys some sleep, or tingles, to help you guys out and have a good night's sleep. So anyways, on the channel we left off where I stated I was going to do a two-part video where the first one was going to be ranting about some animes that I recently watched, and I did that one, but I also said I was going to do another video discussing like the TV shows and the movies that I watched, because I also wanted to discuss them and give my thoughts on them, you know. But yeah, so today's video is going to be on some movies and some TV shows that I've watched that I'd like to give my 2 cents on, and like if my opinions on. So I guess without further ado, let's just get straight on into it. Okay guys, so the first movie that I wanted to touch on was going to be Interstellar. That movie. I had been wanting to watch it for a good long while because I had heard a lot of good things on YouTube and on social media of it being like a really good, really nice, deep movie, or like a really good quality movie. So I drew my attention to it, and I was telling myself I was going to watch it at some point, but I was never able to. But I was finally able to watch it with my family, with my brother. Let's say a while back now, and it was very different. I'll say that it was very like premise that they were touching on. It was a lot different than what I thought they were going to like cover in the movie based on the title, you know. Like just like a short, I guess, summary of the movie. Humanity has, I guess, evolved to a point where their know if it was exactly another planet or they were just trying to figure out a way to keep their crops, or another planet that they could grow crops on. But to me, it seems like that world was so futuristic and so advanced that it just like baffles me that they didn't have the technology to handle that simple matter. Instead, they had to do all this extra stuff and go into space and go try looking for other planets when they look like the world looks incredibly advanced to the point like why is that such a big problem? Honestly, I felt like that was kind of a like big plot hole in the movie. Like, they're so advanced. They can make spacecrafts that can go all the way into space and survive there for hundreds and hundreds of millions, thousands of years. But they can't resolve a simple problem back on Earth. I didn't understand that about the movie. I didn't understand that at all. And that was like the biggest thing, like the biggest, like, I guess you could say problem, if you could call it that, with the movie that I had. But other than that, it was a pretty decent movie. Yeah. I don't think it was like what were people saying, like the best movie of all time or like one of the greatest movies of all time? Not really. It was definitely pretty cool. Going to space and going through different dimensions and all that, but I feel like that part of that hole in the story really just killed it for me. But yeah, so that was Interstellar. The next movie I wanted to talk about was Breaking Bad. I'd also heard a lot of good things about Breaking Bad for a long while, and it made me really want to just check it out. Be part of the group and figure out what was the big deal about this show. Why was so many people raving about this show? Like, what is all the hype that surrounds this this drama, I guess you could say. And so I was able to watch it again with my family member over like I believe it was like 1 or 2 months, however, maybe, because we were watching it maybe a couple episodes a few days out of the week, I believe. If not one episode every day, but yeah. So you're watching that, and the show's good. The show's actually really good. I understand the hype now. Why people were saying why people were so like enthralled or so like obsessed with this show, because it really is pretty interesting. It's got a nice story. It's got cool characters, very intriguing characters. I just list them off right now. Walter, Hank, I believe it was Gomez, his partner. Gus, yeah, you can forget Gus, Tuco, Salamanca twins, Hector Salamanca, Tyrus, I guess, the guy, the bodyguard guy, and the guy before him also, and the first 2 goons. I don't remember their names right now, but the first 2 goons that show up in the show, so they're all very different, very cool, interesting characters, honestly. Jesse, you can't forget Jesse, one of the main guys out of the show. He's really good. It was really nice. It was a pretty cool show, pretty cool. Like this whole premise and everything too. It's like he's like a chemistry teacher, like, but I guess he wants a little bit more thrill in his life or something, or he just feels like his life is just too boring and monotonous, and he feels like he needs to do something out there, do something that is like, I guess, a little bit more risky, if you will. And so he gets into, and so he ends up meeting up with a former student of his, which is the Jesse guy, and they end up deciding to make and sell crystal meth to the local drug addicts, and then try to make a business out of that. So so they can get more and more money, and at a point, that's the beginning of the goal. Walter is doing it so he can save money, so his family will be fine in the future. They don't have to worry for anything. And I guess Jesse's doing it because he just wants. He's doing it as like a release from the way his parents treat him, or like how they've shunned him for just yeah, I guess his path that he's chosen to walk in life. And he's doing it to get back at them, I guess, at that, or just doing it because he wants money or something, to have a good time or something. Yeah, that's the beginning of the goal. But then, as the whole show progresses, their characters develop like all throughout the show. There's a lot of character development in the show. It's really interesting to see. And like the different characters they meet, the different situations they get in, trying to sell this crystal meth, or trying to make money off this drug that they've been able to make, is like, it's crazy. It was really interesting. Really interesting show, and it was a really interesting story all throughout. I like that I like how the story was so like, it had a good ending. Honestly, it had a good ending. It didn't to where how can I say this, like it was a good, if you only watched the Breaking Bad show, that was it. I feel like it'd be a good ending. Like, it doesn't need a follow-up, a sequel, or anything. I know I got a prequel, the Better Call Saul. I haven't watched that yet, but I probably might at some point. But as far as sequels, I don't think it really needs one. It was pretty. It had a good ending. Good ending, and that is where I want to segue now into El Camino. It's mostly based on Jesse. After the events of Breaking Bad, what happens with him, or how he ends up. So, that movie, I feel it was pretty nicely. It was shot really nice, really nice. Some of the scenes in that were really cool. It closes off. I feel like it closes off his story pretty well too. That he goes there to basically to sum it up, he moves to another state. He goes to the guy who their lawyer, Saul Goodman in the show, says he has a person that can make you disappear if at some point you don't want to do this anymore, or if they get caught by the police at some point, or they get on the police, like the police start to have their eyes on them. They can go to this certain individual, he says, that can make them, like, basically can give them a whole new life, a whole new identity, and a fresh start somewhere else. And so he goes to this man, and after a lot of shenanigans that happened beforehand, he takes him to another state to have a fresh start, because because the Breaking Bad, I believe, takes place in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I think he moves all the way to Alaska. Yes, I believe it was Alaska, if not like Greenland or something. But yeah, he goes there. Or no, I think it's Vermont actually. I think it was Vermont, I think, or Maine, or so one of those places around there. It was a really cold place. I think it was Alaska, but he moves to a different state, changes his name, changes his identity, I guess, basically, and he's able to start fresh after the conclusion of the events from Breaking Bad, which was really cool to see. Honestly, really cool. It was pretty cool to see how Jesse's character changed from like the beginning of Breaking Bad as like a young kid with a young kid mentality, or like a punk mentality, into turning into like having a more like, I guess, smart, I guess having like a more grown up way of thinking of things, or like appreciation of of small things that he has, because he experiences so much loss and like pain in the main in the show. But yeah, I think it was a really good epilogue movie for to end off that series. It wasn't really needed. It wasn't necessary, like I said before. Any sequels or things after Breaking Bad, they weren't really necessary. But the epilogue, it just feels like I guess you could say like a cherry on top of a cake, or like a cherry on top, like kind of project. And I say, yeah, that's pretty cool that they did that. Changing from that, like kind of like adventure, suspenseful thing. I wanted to go to some more lighthearted movies that I watched. Some animated movies. Puss in Boots, Super Mario Bros. And I believe it was it's not anime. Nacho Libre, Norbit. All these classic movies, man. Puss in Boots was really good. I liked that movie a lot. It was really nicely animated. I liked the villain. I liked the villain. I liked the Puss. I like the sporting side characters. Mostly the villain. The villain was really cool in that movie. Like, it was actually like for a kids movie. Honestly, it was pretty shocking that they actually put I guess he was a wolf in there, and he was basically like the physical embodiment of death or something like that. And I guess he nearly got Puss in Boots, like, because the premise is that the movie is that he's lost 8 out of his 9 lives and he only has 1 left, so he really has to be careful of how it can't be as risky, or it can't be as out there anymore as he was previously in in the first, I guess, Puss in Boots movie and the Shrek movies. So he has to be a little more reserved in this movie, or more cautious, I guess you'd say. But it's really cool, that movie. The animation, dude. The animation in that movie is just really nicely done. Really, really nicely done. I like the landscapes, the characters. I didn't care too much for the side villain though in that movie. The very tall guy with like the soup bullish haircut. The guy about I can't remember his name right now. Something about a thumb though. His fairy tale has something to do with a thumb and a plum, I believe. But he was kind of like, I feel like the movie was pretty good. The movie ended pretty like kind of like, I guess it ended on like a cliffhanger, so they could possibly make another movie, or they could just leave it as it is. But probably they are gonna make a third movie. I feel like they probably would. But yeah, that movie was good. Then the next one, Super Mario Bros. Movie. That one was really interesting. It was interesting. It was interesting to see as a person who's played the Mario games myself. They made it pretty faithful to the game, other than the beginning where he is Mario has his family and is like I guess his father, his uncle, his grandmother, aunt, stuff like that. That's something they kind of added because in the games they don't really have that, but it was interesting to see that they added those smaller details, and the scenery, everything was really looked like they really did a really good job at bringing that all to life. Like the landscapes, like this Mushroom Kingdom, the Peach's Castle, a lot of the characters, the Koopas, the Bowser, the Witch, the ice creatures. I'm not remembering their name right now, but them, the wizard, and man, the voice cast for that movie too is crazy. The actors they got to voice those characters are insane. I think they got like Seth Rogen, they got Jack Black, Chris Pratt, I think too. And yeah, those are the ones I only remember now. But I think there's a lot of other big names in that movie. It was pretty surprising, honestly. Even when they just announced that, like before the movie was even out, when they just had announced it, they had already said that, and it's like, wow, the names they promised they were gonna do that movie was crazy. Some pretty popular people, popular actors, but yeah. Yeah, nice. I liked the movie, honestly. It was nice overall. Nice kid-friendly movie. You know? I'm not sure if I'm gonna watch that Minecraft one, but maybe at some point when it comes to like Netflix or something. But no, that in the theater, that stuff in the theater was crazy with that movie, man. Okay, so moving on. Next we could talk about, I guess, like two classics. I say let's talk about Norbit. That movie, I had to be truthful here. I have watched that movie before. I watched it. I had watched it like many years ago, but I was really young then, so I wasn't around. Like I really like completely understood everything that was going on in the movie. I was just kind of watching, like laughing at funny stuff I thought was funny, or stuff I saw that looked funny. But nah, I rewatched it and I understood more stuff, and the movie is actually pretty good, really good. It's really good. Eddie Murphy does a good job playing his two characters in that movie, like playing Norbit, playing Rasputia. The characters in that movie, the Kate lady, Rasputia's brothers, the Kate lady's husband, or the guy who's trying to marry her to be her husband so he can take advantage of her for his own means. Yeah, it's pretty. The story is pretty good. Honestly, it's pretty good. you don't really pay attention to it much though, considering all the funny, like, the comedic stuff that happens in that movie. That movie is really funny. A lot of hilarious moments, like an iconic one where Norbert and Rasputia are going in. They're going to go somewhere, I believe. And Norbert's already in the car, and Rasputia's trying to make her way into the car. And she keeps, I guess because she's so big, she keeps honking on the steering wheel or on the horn with her breast because she's so large and the car's so small. She accused Norbert of actually moving her seat, but he swears that he didn't move anything. But she's convinced that he moved, and she like exhales her chest to try to exhale and to try to so he can see that she thinks that he really did move it, but in reality he didn't do anything. He's just really fat or really big. But yeah, that movie's really funny. It's a classic. You gotta a lot of really cool actors in that movie too. Eddie Murphy, Terry Crews. I think it's Cuba Gooding Jr. He's in that movie too. Cat Williams. Forgetting other people, but yeah, they're good. It was pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty funny movie. Next up, after that would be Nacho Libre. Nacho Libre, also another movie I've already seen. Well, I've actually seen it a couple times now. But every time I watch that, it's one of my favorite movies, honestly. I really like that movie. I like the message, and I like the comedy, the jokes in that movie are hilarious, man. Jack Black is a clown, dude. He's certainly a character all throughout that movie, and just certainly in any movie he's really in. Jack Black in any movie he's really ever done, he's always brought like his own his own comedic flair, his own style into the movie, sort of like Jim Carrey, how he puts his own his own personality into the movies that he does. I feel like the same applies for Jack Black there, but yeah, that movie was really, really good. It's based in Mexico. It's based on it's based on a true story. There was a priest in Mexico that actually, by day he was a priest, but at night he liked to wrestle. But he did it all for the orphans at the church, at the monastery that he worked, because he wanted to help them another day. And that's also what the movie is about. Jack Black, he works as a cook in the monastery, but he dreams of having I guess wrestling, because he's always admired it. He's always admired the fame and the glory that the wrestlers had since he was a kid. And so he sort of gets into that with his sidekick Esqueleto, and it's just really funny, man. The stuff they get into, and the wrestlers, the luchadores actually look really nice. Not nice, but the luchadores look pretty interesting. They're pretty unique. They're pretty funny to what they do also in that movie. The main villain is the luchador Ramses, and he is the guy that Jack Black has to face in the end, or Nacho, as you'll say. His character is called in the movie. He has to face him at the end, and all throughout the movie he had been constantly losing every match he had ever done. I guess because he wasn't doing it for anybody else but himself. But I really enjoyed the message at the end that when he saw the orphans and all, and the sister nun lady, that he Encarnacion, when she showed up, because he really liked her and he really cared about the orphans. He finally felt like, I guess, he was finally wrestling for a purpose, and that's what actually gave him the strength to help him finally win his first match. And funny enough, it was against the biggest wrestler in like the Ramses guy. But it was really cool, the ending to that movie, that he gets like, he does what he promised to do. He gives the orphans like a school bus, so they can go on field trips to different areas instead of just being at the monastery all day. And they set out to do that, and he's able to come fulfill that promise to them. And I feel like that was really nice. That's really touching. Really, like, it's a funny movie, but it's also like a really touching like story. Honestly, it's really nice. But yeah, so that's naturally red. Those are all the movies that I wanted to discuss today with you guys. Just giving my opinions on them. They're pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Some of them were obviously had some like ridiculous stuff in them, or stuff that just didn't make sense to me. But yeah, but I feel like most of them were pretty decent and good, or some were even really great. Really great movies to watch, yeah. But yeah, guys, I think that's gonna be it for this video. I feel like it's already pretty long, really long, honestly. So leave a like if you enjoyed this video. If you leave a comment down below what you guys would like to see next. Always encouraging you guys. Always leave those comments if you will. I'm down to do whatever ideas you guys have for me, as long as they're suitable for YouTube, of course. But whatever you guys have in mind, or whatever, if you have any recommendations for me, if you feel like my ASMR skills could use work, or anything at all that you guys would like to comment to me down below, just go ahead and write it and do that. And subscribe if you really enjoy the content here that I make, or you just enjoy my voice, or you just enjoy anything. If you really enjoy anything here, just I urge you to subscribe. It's not necessary, but if you want to, it helps me out. But yeah, I think that's going to be the end of the video for you. I think it's going to be the end of the video. So as always, this has been